Hello everyone, it's Veronica and welcome back to my channel. Happy Thanksgiving everybody. I am so happy to be here. It's obviously Friday when this video is going up, so happy late Thanksgiving. I just want to first mention how grateful I am for all of you guys. You guys are such an amazing community and I love booktube a lot. I'm just super happy to be here. I feel so proud, honestly, to be here, so I'm really glad that I'm able to be here in this amazing community. I'm just super thankful for you guys being here. Thankful that you guys subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment. It just makes me feel so good and happy. So I'm super glad that you guys are here today. Thank you guys so much for being here. But let's get on to the video. As you guys could guess from the title, I am going to talk about my Kindle. I have the Kindle Oasis. And I'm going to mention this a little later on the video, I did order the Paperwhite Signature, and I will get more into that later on in the video. Timestamps will be down below, and even in the scroll bar for the video, you guys will see and the labels for each section. First off, I got my Kindle very recently, to be honest. I got this Oasis early June and simply decided to get the Oasis because I have been desperately wanting an e-reader. I always read on my phone, and back then I found towards, weirdly enough, my high school graduation, I basically had some pretty bad eye strain. It was so bad. My eyes would hurt, they were getting dry more. And as someone with glasses who wore contacts every day, who wears contacts every day, it was just not great. I would use eye drops like it felt like every hour. And especially as a person who reads at night quite a lot, I had a lot of trouble sleeping at night. And one of the reasons why I say that is because throughout the night, I would wake up multiple times and it was just really bad. This is the Kindle Oasis, the newest generation. I have the Mocha case in red and I just put stickers on it. This is the Kindle Oasis. I'm reading The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. Please ignore this section. Pretty much I'm going to talk about what I love about the Kindle Oasis, and then after that what I don't love about the Kindle Oasis, which is very little, so that section will definitely be very short. Okay, so this is the Amazon Kindle Oasis. Really like it. One of the things that I find is I hate how the aluminum feels. Not that it's cold or anything, but it's slippery, and as someone who has dry hands a lot, who moisturizes a lot, it just tends to slip all the time. That's why I got the case and it saved my life. This is the Mocha sleep case. It's really convenient and I do like it. Obviously I like the color red, so it fits. It's great. One of the things I find with this design, my favorite part is definitely the page turn buttons. Those are the best part for me. I love the page turn buttons. One of the best features about the page turn buttons are the fact that when I turn on to my left side, get to use the page turn buttons with just one hand. When I flip to the right, I flip my Kindle to the right side, so the page turn buttons are on my right hand. That works because the orientation flips, which is great, which the Paperwhite does not do. I'm super glad that I got this Kindle Oasis because the page turn buttons are a lifesaver. And as someone who literally has small hands, look, this is my hand and this is the edge of the Kindle Oasis. My hand is the size. I can barely fit my thumb like that. I can't even hold it, which is why the design of the grip is pretty nice. But I must say, with the case on, I flip it and I actually hold it like this. So I'll have my index finger in the inside where the grip would usually be, and then I have the case, and then I would hold it like this. With the case on, I can't have it like this and just have the cover just dangling. It feels weird for some reason. So that's why I always have it like this. Even in my right hand, I'm holding it like this. That's just something I find when I first started using my Kindle and just using my Kindle now. This ergonomic design doesn't really help, to be honest. If the Kindle Oasis just had a flat back with the page turn buttons, I would probably love it more. So the grip, kind of useless. I find just this is a hindrance on my reading abilities, and I love love the grip. It's convenient, but the case kind of bothers me a lot when reading. That's like a me thing. Definitely a me thing. Other than that, I do love my Kindle. It's convenient, it's amazing, and I found ever since I started using it, it definitely took me a lot of time to get used to reading on an e-device. It's definitely a lot slower, but I'm so thankful I even got a Kindle. Or if you're planning on getting a Kobo, if you guys are planning on getting one, you will thank yourself in the future. Before I even got to Honolulu, I was just not sleeping great. I would wake up in the middle of the night. Reading on my phone late at night was just annoying. I would wake up a lot. My eyes got really dry. It was an issue. It was a whole issue, and I didn't really like it. And so that's why the moment I started reading on my Kindle, I could feel the difference. At night, I would lie on my side and reading until I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. And I would just go to sleep. No waking up in the middle of the night, nothing at all, until my alarm would wake me up, or I would wake up naturally. It has not been a problem at all going to bed with the Kindle. This seriously saved my eyes, especially with someone who wears contacts and glasses. I just feel much more comfortable. So I feel like those are all the pros that I have for the Kindle. Personally, for me, get the Kindle or Kobo, whichever. One of the great things about Kindle is you can use your Libby app, and once you go on, you can have multiple libraries. If you say you borrow The Pool Boy, or here, if you borrow Mexican Gothic right now, you can send it to your Kindle and you can read it on your Kindle rather than having to read it on your phone. That's how great it is. You can just send it to your Kindle and it's amazing. However, I think Asian libraries and Canadian libraries, I don't know about European libraries. That one I don't know about. I for sure know Asian libraries and Canadian libraries. You can use Overdrive or Libby from your Kobo itself. The libraries basically aren't compatible with Kindle, which sucks, and I hate that for you guys. I'm so sorry. Basically, what's great is that I can check out books from my library. The last book I checked out was Tokyo Ever After for my Asians Under a Typhoon book club. I listened to the audiobook because I owned the audiobook, but I felt that I kind of wanted to read it, so I borrowed it, and then I ended up kind of using it as a guide while listening to the audiobook, which was just absolutely fantastic. That's what I like about libraries, is that if you're in the US like me, you have library cards or just the one, you can borrow more library books and just send it to your Kindle so you don't have that eye strain when reading on your phone or your iPad. And that's what I love about Libby. Overdrive and Libby are the same, but I feel Libby has the better interface, so that's why I use Libby. But Kobo uses Overdrive, and you can borrow books and send it to your Kindle through Overdrive, I think. I don't know. But I use Libby because it's better, it's faster to me. So if you want to use more of your library and you're in the US, Libby is the way to go. Don't really use Overdrive. I stopped using Overdrive a year ago. That's one of the features of what I love about the Kindle. Now I want to talk about basically the cons of the Kindle. So the downfall of the Kindle, I mentioned this earlier, it is the ergonomic grip, as Amazon puts it. Ergonomic, not really for me especially. I like the grip. I like the page turn buttons more. If it was just a completely flat back, it had the buttons, but the one thing with the grip comes this aluminum platinum back that I absolutely hate. Like I said, I moisturize a lot. The first week I had it, I think, it slipped like crazy. Hated it. Absolutely did not like it. I never used the grip because it kind of hangs the cover. So the cover hanging like this and just going like this, it feels heavier. So that's why I never use the grip and I always just hold it like this. It feels better like this. It doesn't feel like heavier anymore. So I don't really like it as much, unfortunately. That's pretty much it for the functions. One thing I must say though, battery life, weeks of battery life. As an avid reader, someone who reads literally every day for 1 hour at minimum, battery life goes by really fast. It can definitely last me a week, but I'm charging it like every week. It does not last me weeks. It lasts me a week, sometimes even 5 days or even less, depending on how much I read. Now, there are occasions where I'm like, okay, I'll turn on airplane mode. But some days where I'm reading a lot of books, where I'm removing downloads or updating Goodreads the moment I finish a book on Kindle, my internet, my Wi-Fi on my Kindle is constantly on. The Wi-Fi is on because I finish a short book and I want to update Goodreads. I don't want to have that waiting period of time to turn on the Wi-Fi and then wait for Goodreads to load. That kind of instance. So, battery life, is it great? Not really. I'll also mention this, that with the Paperwhite, I have heard that battery life is much longer, which is one reason why I'm excited to get the signature. You'll find out more in the later section why I'm getting the Paperwhite signature. Honestly, if you read 1 hour or even less a day, Kindle is definitely gonna last you, but for me, it's just I read every day. If I'm not doing schoolwork or if I'm done or just I have simply free time, I'm on my Kindle. That's just it. That's why the battery doesn't last as long. But that being said, the battery is not that bad. It's pretty good. And I don't have to, I'm always charging it at night anyway. It doesn't die on me in the middle of the day, which is what I like about it. Other than that, I honestly find Kindle Oasis is a fantastic device. If you are willing to splurge and pay for that 200, 300, I don't know how many, get the Oasis. It is totally worth it. Why I decided to go for the Oasis than the Paperwhite was the page turn buttons. I found as a lefty, the buttons were a lifesaver, and just reading at night, having to be able to just flip the screen and use the buttons, or flip it back on my left side and use the buttons, and it'll flip the page. It is fantastic. This is me on my left side, for example, okay, with the buttons on the left, and this is on the right. You'll see it flips right away. It's really fast. It was a little slow there, but it's a lot faster when it's actually on the page. So I love the page turn buttons. Honestly, if you are willing to splurge, the Oasis is perfect. It's honestly amazing and I would recommend. However, if you're like, I don't really care about page turn buttons, the price is definitely worrisome. I'm not really willing, and I'm definitely waiting for that $80 Paperwhite or just the regular Kindle. It's totally up to you. Honestly, getting an e-reader in general is simply amazing. So if you're set on a Kobo because you live in Canada, you live in Asia, whatever, get the Kobo. Basically, just get an e-reader, because if you're an avid reader or you want to become an avid reader, e-readers will save your life, your eyes, and honestly your sleep schedule. So get an e-reader no matter what device, if it's the Kindle Oasis, the Kindle Paperwhite, the regular Kindle, even a Kobo. It is 100 times, 1,000 times better than your phone, your iPad, or your laptop. Now, that was it pretty much for my Kindle Oasis review and pros and cons, basically. I want to talk about why I decided to pre-order, or not really pre-order, but buy the Paperwhite Signature. If you guys know, the Paperwhite Signature is 32 gigabytes. It's ad-free. I also got 4 months Kindle Unlimited because I love Kindle Unlimited. I do plan on doing a video on Kindle Unlimited and other book-related subscriptions, so if you guys want to see that, do comment that down below. But in general, I got the Paperwhite because whenever I read outside, I simply, believe it or not, don't use the page turn buttons on my Oasis. Now you guys are like, Veronica, what the heck? You just spent like 10, 15, 20 minutes talking about how much you love page turn buttons, and you're telling me you don't even use it outdoors? Insane. I know, it's really dumb. I find that I never ever use the page turn buttons when I'm outside of the house. It's weird, it's really weird, but I find that I only ever use the page turn buttons at home. Whenever I'm at home, personally for me, I'm on my bed reading, or I'm outside in the living room on the couch reading. I am always using the page turn buttons. But the moment I get out, I don't really have time to read, and when I do have time to read, I use my right hand, because whatever I'm holding, it's with my left, and the Kindle, it's on my right. So the one reason I got the Paperwhite was just because that's gonna be as my outdoor Kindle, if you will. The Paperwhite has longer battery life. Personally for me, I'm wanting that to be my outdoor going outdoor kind of Kindle because I love my Oasis. It is honestly something I'm willing to leave home. Really just the main reason, it doesn't have the page turn buttons. I never use the page turn buttons. It's got a longer battery life than the Oasis, and when I'm outdoors, I don't want to look at the battery life and have to see, oh, low battery, you have to charge. When I go outside, I'm not reading every single time. At least having that like knowledge, oh, my Kindle is in my bag. If I have free time, maybe I can read. That's why Paperwhite, it's mainly like grab and go out the door kind of situation, or I leave it in my bag kind of situation. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to get the Paperwhite Signature. For one thing, I bought this with my own money that I worked hard for. I have my own reasons as to why I'm getting the Kindle Paperwhite Signature. So if you don't agree, you don't agree, it's totally okay. I have my reasons as to why I got the Paperwhite Signature for outdoors going out and leaving my Kindle Oasis at home. That's it for why I'm getting a Kindle Paperwhite Signature, and I'm very much excited for it. That being said, I'm still very much going to use my Kindle Oasis. It's not going to stop the moment I get my Paperwhite. It's going to be amazing when I can differentiate between this being home and that being outside, and leaving this at home, not having to worry about battery life, and when I'm at home, I can charge it anytime. I have different functions for it. I really do. I want to just say, if you guys are interested in an e-reader, do comment down below which e-reader you are gonna get. I would love to know if any of you guys have pre-ordered or ordered the Paperwhite Signature, or just the new Paperwhite 8GB one that came out as well alongside the Signature. And I also want to know, do you guys have multiple Kindles? Because I know the Kindle Reddit, there are a few threads where there are people who have like 2, 3, 4, or 5. You know, this is just something I want to know. Do you guys have multiple Kindles? Also, what do you guys use it for? I want to know if you guys are getting a Kindle, or if this inspired you to get a Kindle. You know me, I love my Kindle. I read paperbacks, but personally for me, the Kindle still is my go-to. It saves a lot of weight in my bag, on my shoulders, in my luggage in the future when I travel. And I just know, like, it's just an amazing device. So do let me know, do comment that down below. Do you guys plan on getting an e-reader? Whether it's a Kobo or it's an Amazon Kindle, I would love to know. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming to this video. If you guys did like it, please give this a thumbs up, and also hit the subscribe button down below. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for coming, and happy Thanksgiving, happy late Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday. I post booktube videos every Saturdays. This one is an exception. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.